Governance. General Studies Paper 2 basically comprises polity, governance, international relations. As I said in my previous videos, governance covers a lot of marks, and one peculiar aspect of governance is there is lot of overlapping between governance and the topics in economy. So this particular point of governance, that is GS2 and GS3, they overlap. So as I said earlier, preparation for the civil services is not hard work, it is smart work. So it is rapid reading the syllabus, revising the syllabus, seeing which are the common topics. See, before we start the today's session, see the syllabus of GS2 relating to governance. Issues relating to and development and management of the social sector. Issues relating to development and management of the social sector. Services related to health, education, human resources, poverty, hunger. So the particular topic which we are doing today, issues relating to poverty, it can come even in GS2 and even in GS3, overlapping of economy and the governance part. So this particular unit in governance, lot of overlapping will be there between GS2 and GS3. So today's topic for discussion, the Indian economy is going through a severe crisis, which is a slowdown as well as a structural crisis. So we read the question again. The Indian economy is going through a severe crisis, which is a slowdown as well as a structural crisis. In the light of this statement, examine the initiatives required to reach a $5 trillion economy. Answer in 200 words. So first, we have a background to the answer. Give the necessary statistics before we go to the main part of the answer. So the basic statistics, all this I've taken from the Economic Survey, Volume 1. So background, see the rate of growth of the GDP declined to 5%, the construction sector at 3.3%, agriculture 2.3%. Then the increase in non-performing assets of the banking sector and the non-financial banking companies. You see the statement, the poorest own 4% of the national wealth. The richest, who are 10%, own 73% of the wealth. So here itself we see the disparities in income distribution. Then the government is spending only 1.4% of the GDP on health and 3% on education. So with this background, we go to the main part of the answer. When we say the economy is going through a severe crisis and slowdown as well as a structural crisis, so for this, how do we come out of the severe crisis? The answer is inclusive growth. What is this inclusive growth? Are we bound to follow the policy principle of inclusive growth? See, we have committed to the resolution of the UN General Assembly, which stands for inclusive growth. Inclusive growth and development. So this is the basic principle which we are going to follow, inclusive growth. Now, what are the components of inclusive growth? See, first thing would be expand productive employment opportunities. This is the first component of inclusive growth. Then the second one would be quality of basic health. So quality of basic health, again I said healthcare should be accessible, available, affordable. For this we have different programs in health. We have the National Health Mission and other related schemes. So When I say quality of basic health, I mean the three parameters it should fulfill of accessibility, affordability, availability. Then we also require a healthy labor force. What is this healthy labor force? So this healthy labor force will provide the employment for startups and medium and small scale enterprises. Employment guarantee schemes. Now we have the MGNREGA. So this will, apart from providing employment, will also expand capital formation. So the main part of the answer, first I talked of inclusive growth, how we are committed to the policy of inclusive growth as we are bound by the resolution of the UN General Assembly. We saw the components of inclusive growth. Now, what are the benefit of these components? See, these components of inclusive growth will help raise income and well-being. It will raise demand. Then, adopting inclusive growth, it will mean growth becomes equitable and sustainable. So this is one part of the answer. So we have said why there should be inclusive growth, the components and the advantages of the policy of inclusive growth. Now, what initiatives are required for this to reach a $5 trillion economy? First would be to raise the expenditure on health to 5%. See, now the expenditure on health is just 1.4%. So they are asking for increasing the expenditure on health to 5%. Similarly, education. Education, we are spending 3%. Now what we are recommending is it should be 6%. There must be public investment in agriculture, then increasing credit flow. This is one of the initiatives which are required for India to reach a $5 trillion economy. The second thing would be incentives to the corporate sector. When you give incentives to the corporate sector, it would mean increasing exports, and to that extent the increase in income, the country will benefit with the increase in exports. The third suggestion would be raising direct taxes like capital tax and wealth tax. So the tax base has to be raised. When you give incentives to the corporate sector, it follows that we should raise their direct taxes, the capital tax and wealth tax, so that the resource position improves. Now, these initiatives will help in India reaching the $5 trillion economy. These are the major initiatives which I stressed on. So, going back to the main part of the question, I said the introduction, we just give the figures of the economic survey which describes the current state of the economy. In this you highlight the decline in GDP, then poor performance of the various sectors, that is manufacturing sector, bank and agriculture, then increase in non-performing assets, then disparities in income and wealth, and very low allocations made to health and education. So we suggested that we should have the policy of inclusive growth. Why we are following the policy of inclusive growth? It is because we have committed to the UN General Assembly that we are bound by the resolution of the UN General Assembly, and we are committed to inclusive growth. So in the components, I said these components have to be rigorously followed, like expanding productive employment opportunities, improve the quality of basic health, then the healthy labor force. Why do we require them? For startups and MSCs. Then promote employment guarantee schemes like MG and REGA. Then we also said how these will help, how these components will help. That is, it will raise income, it will raise effective demand, then growth will be equitable and sustainable. So this is one part of the answer. The second part of the answer, the initiatives required. So initiatives required, I said, see, when you talk of basic health, quality of health, so obviously you'll have to increase the outlay on health. Outlay on health is hardly, outlay on health is just 1.4%. We are recommending it should raise to 5%. Similarly, quality education. It's not quality education. If you want to make the workforce, healthy workforce, educated, and make them partners in nation building by providing a vigorant labor force for startups and MSCs, the outlay on education also has to be raised. Now it is 3%. We are asking for increase in allocation to education to 6%. Then public investment in agriculture. Why there should be public investment in agriculture? Then credit flow. Then we also spoke of incentives to the corporate sector, which will increase exports. Then raising direct taxes like capital tax and wealth tax. So this much what we have discussed will contribute to a 200-word answer. As I said, this when I was seeing the interrelated syllabus between GS2 governance and economy, lot of overlapping is there, especially the one part of governance, that is development of the sectors like health, education, then poverty, hunger, human resources. They are linked to the economy part also. And for this, your basic source of information would be Economic Survey, Volume 1, Volume 2. You need not go for any other books, you need not go for any other material. And as I said, you need not waste too much of time on the Economic Survey. Go to the closer part, the recommendations, and see the recommendations are prepared by economists, by experts in the field, and quoting from the Economic Survey will definitely place you in a better position than the others.